Hello friends, welcome back to the bench. Our patient today is something very unusual. The idea is so bizarre that I just could not buy it. This is USB soldering iron, but in fact this is a vape pen with an attachment of the soldering tip. Actually 3 of them. It comes with 3 tips. It's very interesting, and I already opened it. It comes like so with manual, which we don't need, some solder through 2 extra tips, a cable, tips, and a little stand. Let's see, solder. We'll see what kind of solder this is, because it's not marked. And this is our guy. So I already charged it, and as soon as I held it, I recognized that this is a vape pen. Alright, because I use those. So we can unscrew it, and that reveals our soldering tip. We can unscrew the tip, and this is standard connection, which allows you to put in the cartridge. By cartridge I mean the actual, vape cartridge. So let's do this. Let's reveal our tips. We have 3 of them. So we have knife tip, we have this one, or to say what to call this one, and this one. Also don't know what this one is called, but they're all pretty big. So on one hand, this seems to be a device that you would expect to be for precision work. On the other hand, you don't have any precision tips for it. I honestly do not know what the creator of this had in mind, what exactly this would be for, but let's see if it even works, because I have my doubts. I have some doubts that this might not actually perform. Maybe not work. Yeah, I'm sure it's gonna start getting hot and stuff, but I have my doubts that this will not be viable. And the main reason is, from soldering iron, what do you expect? Well, you expect that it will heat up, it will hold the temperature, right? So normally, even on those tiny, $5 or $10 soldering irons from China, you have a tiny dial on it where you set the temperature, right? Now on the professional ones, like this one, you see it's a lot smaller. Maybe not a lot, but it is smaller. Oh. Right, slightly. My professional one. This is the professional one. This is our Chinese crap. On these, not only you want to set the temperature of the tip, but you want to hold the stable temperature. Now with this one, all we have is just one button and a charging port and a little LED that turns green when it's charged. So what will be the problem with this one? Well, obviously we don't know what temperature the tip is gonna get, right? And do I have to keep holding the button? Yeah, Yeah, because that's how vape pens work. You hold the you hold the button, you inhale, and you release the button, right? So, how do we turn it on? Most likely, since it's a vape pen, and I'm a smoker, you press it 5 times. There you go. It flashed. Well, it heats up as expected. So let's try this first, because that's probably how they tested it. Let's get this solder that was provided with the device, and let's see what it does. So maybe let's put some more solder here. But okay, so problem number 1, I cannot adjust the tip position or tip angle. So this is how I want to hold my tip, right? But the button is not in the place that is easy for me to press. So this is problem number 1. Okay, turn on. You can see how little energy it has, thermal energy, or thermal mass. Okay, yeah, it's not hot enough. And the solder is flowing, or it seems, but I can feel it under with my hand. I can feel that it's not hot enough. Now it's getting there. Now it's getting there. So it needs a little while to heat up. Okay. Okay. Now let's see what the actual temperature of the tip will be. Alright, so now let's see. Turn it on. Okay, we see where the heating element is. It's very close to the tip, which is good. 130, 140. Let's extract some fumes. On 76, 180. It takes a while to warm up, actually. $190. $200. Okay, this is still not enough to melt lead-free solder. The rest of the pan is also getting pretty hot, as you can see over here. 210, 28, it's fluctuating at around 200 degrees. Yeah, 210, and it's not going any higher. 210 degrees. Now, this, where I'm holding it, it already heated up to 55, 57 degrees. 58 even. So it's kind of uncomfortable to hold it now. Because see, the problem here is that you have to hold it here, press this button, right? You gotta keep it pressed for the iron to heat up. As you can see, it's holding the temperature very nicely actually. Right, it's not cooling down very quickly, which is not necessarily a good thing. The professional soldering iron will lose the temperature very quickly because that's how they're designed. This one is designed to keep the temperature for whatever reason, but it heats up over here to pretty high temperatures, 61 at the moment. So temperature of 60 degrees Celsius is enough to cause burns. Right, it's enough to damage the tissue. But you need to keep your finger somewhere here, so perhaps like this. Right, and you need to keep it pressed, and that is hot enough that it's uncomfortable. It's not comfortable to hold right now. And 205, 207, and 210 is our limit. 210 degrees. What are you going to do with 210 degrees? Now, our tip already is experiencing discoloration due to high temperature. The tip still looks good. Let's try cleaning it. Okay, that's not bad. Since this is lead-free solder that was delivered with it, it kinda works. But let's see, can we loosen this transistor over here? Okay, now at this point it's burning me. I can no longer use this. It is plainly burning my fingers when I try to operate it. Because to press the button, right, I need to have my fingers on the other side, right? And to press the button and hold it, this finger will go a little further, right, beyond the button. So this is, because let's see, well, maybe I could do this. Very uncomfortable, extremely actually. Comfortable would be holding it like this, but I can't hold it like this because it's too hot over here. It's just burning my fingers. So I actually didn't expect it to be this bad. I knew it wouldn't work. I knew it's a dumb idea, but I didn't expect it to be this bad. I didn't actually even think about it that it's gonna start heating everywhere, because these vape pens are not designed to press and hold it and keep it on for a minute or 2 or 5. It would be ridiculous. You just press it, you inhale, you release it, and maybe you do 2 or 3 or 5 cycles tops, right? And you put it back. That's how we use it. That's what this was designed for. But instead, now we want to use it as a soldering iron. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Whoever thought of something like this? And what for? My main question was, what would I actually use it for? Or who is it for? And what is it for? Is it for repair technicians? No. Why would you need something like this? It's portable. So I expect that you would use it in the place where you don't have access to soldering equipment, maybe no outlets. But what are you doing soldering if you have no access to those? What are you soldering, right? And obviously you want to use flux, you want to use solder, maybe soldering wick. Actually, you know what, let's try soldering wick and flux, just to prove a point that it's useless. So now I want to clean this, right? So what I would normally do, I'm even gonna use the good expensive flux, right? Good expensive soldering wick. I'm gonna sacrifice my fingers for this presentation. Okay, so it looks like it did. Once I mixed a lead-free solder with leaded solder and then wicked it, it looks acceptable. I mean, not perfect. I even damaged a little bit here because it takes a while for this to transmit the heat into the board and into the solder and into the wick. So it's not perfect, but it kind of works. Now let's just try if I don't use a leaded solder and just want to remove lead free. I do this a lot and it works using a good soldering iron. Now let's see this one. Okay, it actually kind of works. It actually kind of works with a little bit of burning on my fingers. So this is definitely not for hours of work, but you have a tiny battery in it. So yeah, how long do you expect it to work? Maybe half an hour. But technically, look at this, right? It's not awful. It's not perfect, but considering that we're using battery-powered soldering iron, it's actually okay. So now, back to my original question. Who is it for, and what is it for? Who needs something like this, and what for? So maybe if you're traveling, right, in your camper, and that's it. What would you need it for, traveling in your camper? What exactly would this be for? Because it's kind of weird. Because say you don't have access to electricity, you don't have a bench with you, you don't have, all the equipment that you normally use for doing electronics or electronics repair. And this somehow solves your problem. So what exactly are you doing that you need a soldering iron, but you need it battery operated? Because you can make this battery operated, no problem. You just need a big battery and inverter in this case, but I'm sure you can modify the soldering iron to accept 12 volts instead of 120 AC. That might be, you know, some solution. But then again, what are you doing? Your phone broke and you suddenly need a soldering iron. This one, no, this one's not gonna do it. The tips are too big for any precision work. So maybe the smallest device you can work with would be an ECM, maybe. But what exactly would you be doing on the ECM that requires you to have this? You need, say you want to remove a resistor, capacitor, or something. Well, how did you find it, right? You have your power supply with you and thermal camera to inject voltage and find the short. But then, you know, to remove the capacitor with this, it's theoretically possible. I mean, I could do it. I could remove capacitor with this, and the wick, and the flux. I could. It's also big enough that probably I could just hold it on the side and flick the capacitor off the board. But again, why would I be doing that? Why would I need it to be this portable? And why would I need to burn my fingers? Like, the reason this switch is not here, because it would be much better if it was here, right? Somewhere further from the heating element. But the reason is that this is not soldering iron. This is vape pen. This is standard vape pen. The only difference is that it has the cap over here, which goes over here, right, to hide the tip. But other than that, this is regular vape pen, as standard as they come. That's why it has the button so close to the heating element, because it's not designed to be on all the time. But someone thought, hey, why not? Why not? So this is, whoop. This is the cartridge, which is empty, and there you go. And now it's a vape pen. Why would you need this? What would this be for? Well, if you guys have any ideas what this would be useful for, drop it in the comment. I'm very curious what would be the possible need for it, or what problem are you solving by creating this. But it sounded so crazy to me that I just had to buy it. It's $15 from China. I didn't see them in the United States. Oh, this is for the solder. So, yeah. Well, I guess it's neat. The packaging is pretty neat. It would be, yeah, you just kind of put it in your toolbox, and you have portable iron. This is good enough for, okay, I just thought of one possible use for this. The only possible use that I can think of right now is when you're working in the field and sometimes you have to solder the wires, right? Like perhaps desolder the wire from some kind of plug to remove it, right? And then solder it back. It's kind of far-fetched, but this could actually allow you to do some of that. But again, your maximum temperature is 210 degrees Celsius. So you're not going to be able to work with big wires, or you're just going to melt the insulation on the wire. You're not going to be able to work with lead-free solder, of big blobs of lead-free solder, because you need at least 270 degrees for lead-free. Although you can see over here, I managed to wick the lead-free solder off of the board. So perhaps the real temperature is actually a little higher than my thermal imager is showing. Could be. My thermal imager is not exactly calibrated because I don't use it for temperature measurements, but rather to see the heat spots. But it's, so say it's 40 degrees off, so it's actually doing 250 instead of 210. Fine. I don't think it's that much off, but fine. It's still a little low for a lot of cases. Big wires like these, and it's gonna be hard to work with this one. I even struggle with with my professional soldering tip to work on the big wires, so I have to use some hot air, and the same with pretty much everything else. I always need to have hot air at my disposal to push enough heat into whatever I'm working on, because the soldering iron alone is not going to be able to do that. So if you only have the soldering iron and it's burning your finger, it's not going to be a pleasant experience. So this is kind of like a MacGyver set, right? When you really have to hack something, like literally hack something on the spot. Do I recommend this? Well, for what? What would I recommend it for? Or who would I recommend it for? I can't think of any uses, the real life uses. So it's a nice novelty item. It's like kind of a cute gimmick, but it's absolutely useless. And it's not practical because it's going to burn your fingers if you want to use it for any extended period. Well, nevertheless, here we have it. It's a soldering iron. It can actually melt solder. You can wick the board with it. It works for a few minutes. There you go. Well, I guess I can't complain that it doesn't work. It kind of does. But no, not recommended. Not recommended. Unless you're really curious what to do with this, then go ahead and buy one. They're $15 from China. Not a huge investment. So just to satisfy your curiosity, it's okay price. It took only about 2 weeks, maybe a little over 2 weeks to get to me. So the seller is pretty reliable, or they use speed pack, which takes sometimes even less than 2 weeks. Alrighty, fellas, that is it. That is our portable soldering iron. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you guys in the next time.